Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today I'll be tracking to chance for some severe weather to be going on across parts of the eastern United States here, really for the most part today, but then these areas here, some of these same areas in here, maybe we get to see some severe weather again tomorrow. There's also some very hot temperatures going on across parts of California, Arizona, in Nevada. And some of you guys might be saying, well, it's always hot down there. It's true, but we're talking about very, very hot temperatures. We're talking about temperatures deep in the 110s in some of these places in here. More specifically, southwestern California in southwestern Arizona, or I should say southeastern California. And there is going to be a chance for some record highs over there as well for the heat. And it's going to be hot over there for the next several days here as this ridge here, right in here, it's going to keep on pumping up very warm air into some of those places in the southwestern United States. And it's going to keep a lot of people dry over there as well. So there is going to be some red flag warnings out there, and it's in effect. And so again, we're going to start off with the watch warning advisory display here. So again, this is what's going on right now, like I've said a little bit earlier. Some wildfire potentially has some issues over there, and it's going to be very hot. We also do have a couple severe thunderstorm watches. You got one for southeastern Ohio, southwestern Pennsylvania, a good chunk of West Virginia, and there's also a couple counties in northeastern Kentucky as well. And we also got another severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect for parts of western Alabama, the southern half of Mississippi, and portions of Louisiana as well, which we'll go ahead and take some of these watches in a little bit more detail. So here you go. Here's one of the severe thunderstorm watches. This is one in the Ohio Valley. Isolated hail up to ping pong size is possible. Scattered gusts up to 70 miles per hour is possible, and also for the chance for some frequent lightning. There is 6.7 million people in this watch here. Can we see more severe thunderstorm watches? It's a possibility into parts of the Ohio Valley as well. But this area here does have a favorable environment for some severe thunderstorms, which that's what's going on right now, which we'll take on the radar, take a look on the radar in just a moment. Then you got this other severe thunderstorm watch in Dixie Alley. Isolated hail up to ping pong size possible. Scattered gusts up to 80 miles per hour likely. And also frequent lightning is possible as well. There is a chance for some pretty wet microbursts in this area in here. And that's where the SPC had one of their mesoscale discussions here. Talk about for the chance for a few wet microbursts. So that's what's leading to the severe thunderstorm watch. At least that's one of those. And that's why the scattered wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour is likely is there because of those microbursts. And microbursts could be on the intense side as well. So we definitely need to keep an eye on that. And let's check out radar here. So we do have several severe thunderstorm warnings in parts of the Ohio Valley. More specifically, you got one about just east of New York, Ohio. We got one that's good about to enter into parts of West Virginia. You got another one for parts of Pennsylvania and West Virginia, and you got another one in central West Virginia as well. We also do have a couple flash flood warnings where some of these storms are trending over some of the same areas. We do have some strong storms all the way back into parts of southern Indiana, into parts of Kentucky here. You even got this one pretty good storm that is northeast of Frankfort right now. That might be becoming a pretty strong storm soon as well. Let me go back here real quick. And if we move a little further to the southwest, we got a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. We got one in parts of northwest central Alabama. You got one in east central Mississippi as well. You got one close to Columbus. You got one in Fayette, Alabama as well. And you do have some scattered strong storms in some of those places in there as well. Dime size hail report. That could be a false report as well. So as the SPC outlook here for today, we got a lot of areas to watch for the potential for severe weather. You got slight risk for far northeastern Kentucky, southeastern Ohio, most of West Virginia, northwestern Virginia, uh, western Maryland, and most of Pennsylvania as well, getting up into parts of New York as well. We also got another slight risk for severe weather for the southern half of Mississippi and parts of southeastern Louisiana as well, and far southwestern Alabama. And we got another slight risk for severe weather across northeastern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, and western Nebraska as well. And we have a margin risk up in parts of Wisconsin. You got another margin risk for parts of west central Texas and southwestern Oklahoma. And then here's an interesting one: margin risk for parts of Oregon, Washington, and northern Idaho. That's definitely interesting up there. We're not really expecting any tornadoes today, which here is going to be expected to be low. Damage winds will be primary threat for all these areas, in similar situation for some of the hail as well. Although hail will be at the greatest chance if, for the slight risk by the Rockies as well. So a pretty active day for today. Tomorrow we got a margin risk for severe weather for parts of the Ohio Valley and Mid Atlantic. You got another margin risk for parts of the Central and Northern Plains into parts of the Rockies as well, at least just east of the Rockies. Again, no tornadoes expected tomorrow. Wind and hail will be your primary threats tomorrow. So, could we see a slight risk into parts of Atlantic? I'll say so. Later, every time there's a severe weather threat in the Mid Atlantic, it always overperforms. That's happened so many times in the past. So I would not be too surprised to see a slight risk be added to parts of the Mid Atlantic as well. Definitely something we need to watch there. So let's check out the high risk day I'm here. So I'm really just focused on the Ohio Valley event here for today. Not a whole lot of focus on some of the other places. Plus, I already told you guys there might be some wet microbursts into parts of Dixie Alley as well. So let's kind of talk about this here. So this high risk day, it's been doing good for the past couple of days here, and it looks like it's doing all right so far. You do have some strong severe storms across parts of West Virginia, Maryland. You even got a couple strong storms back into parts of Kentucky and Ohio. It looks like a couple strong storms in northwestern Pennsylvania as well to parts of northeastern Ohio. Those storms will continue to move to the southeast here. If we do see any clustering of some of these thunderstorms, like this one here, for example, there, into parts of West Virginia, definitely watch that because damage winds will probably be a little bit of a better threat there when these storms do cluster up. They do have a better opportunity of producing some damage winds. We've already seen it already in parts of Kentucky here, which was really interesting is the fact that none of models were showing cluster of thunderstorms moving through parts of Kentucky yesterday. Not even a single one. It turned out we did have some yesterday, and some of those were strong to severe and actually produced some damage out there as well into parts of Central and Southern Kentucky. Definitely a little bit interesting and a little bit unexpected as well. Let's check out the Cape here. As we kind of check out the Cape here, Cape surface base, it's going to be favorable for everybody in this area. And here, you do have some isolate spots close to a little close to 5,000 joules per kilogram to parts of central Kentucky. But really, anywhere for anybody that's got 2,000 or 3,000 plus Cape, you have a chance for severe weather, no doubt about it. But when you get to some of these better numbers, like 4,000 or greater, you got a pretty decent opportunity for some severe weather. If we get a sounding in there in central Kentucky, we'll see what we get here. Because there is a couple main factors to lead to this damage and wind threat here. And that's what you look into here. Yeah, a lot of Cape. It's actually showing 5,800. That's a lot of Cape to work with. So a couple things here. Number one, downdraft cape, 1300. That's favorable. Number 2, low level lap rates, 8.7 Celsius per kilometer. That's also favorable. And you also got the temperature dew point line spread apart at the surface. That's also favorable for severe weather as well. And this is a similar environment to what we had here in Kentucky yesterday. The only difference about it is that there's more cape to work with, pretty much. But everything else was just kind of the same here. I mean, I'll say 8 points, the low level lap rates on this model here is a little bit of an overkill. Because if we check out the low level lap rates right now, if we look at the SPC and mesoscale analysis, change our sector here, and check out the surface space cape. Oh, these numbers are going up real quick out here. Yeah, these numbers are going up real quick. You got 4,000 plus into parts of Kentucky, even 4,500. That's a lot of cape to work with. But really the main area to watch here, where we have that severe thunderstorm watch, we do have anywhere from 2,500 to 3,500 joules per kilogram. These numbers will be going up throughout the day here. But I've got to watch my own area there because those cape numbers are going up fairly quickly today. And we do have a mesoscale discussion here. At least a few damaging wind gusts are possible this afternoon into parts of central Kentucky, southeastern Ohio, southeastern Indiana, my bad, and southwestern Ohio. Doesn't really say. Let's check out the watch chances here. 20%, pretty low chance, but a few damaging wind gusts are possible either way. But yeah, those cape numbers are going up fairly quickly. Let's check out the downdraft cape. Really, anybody over 800 is favorable for some damaging winds. And pretty much this area here and outward here is favorable for damaging winds. Now, impressive numbers are like 1,300, 1,400, 1,500 downdraft cape. That's pretty high. And we do have some isolated areas with 1,300, but then again, these numbers are still going up. The time I make this video, it is 2:26 p.m. Eastern Time. So these numbers will be going up throughout the day here. Here's the mixed layer cape here. And you can see here, it's also favorable for severe weather. You got isolated spots of 3,000 in some of these places in here. And again, it's going to be going up throughout the day. Oh yeah, let's check out this low level lap rates, and these numbers are going up as well. And really, favorable low level lap rates numbers is 7 plus, and we actually have areas over 8, which is quite a bit. That's favorable for some damaging winds as well. So definitely keep an eye on this area here in red. And again, these numbers will be going up throughout the day as well. And why not check out the derecho composite? And you can see here it's only a 2. A little bit elevated, but we're not expecting a derecho today. Here's a microburst composite here, and like the SPC was mentioning here, pretty high probability for microbursts today into parts of Mississippi and Alabama. It goes a little off the screen there, but those are high numbers when you think about it there. You even got a nose of 5 plus that goes all the way up into parts of Kentucky as well. So definitely need to monitor that pretty closely there as well. And I don't think there's anything else to look in here, but then again, definitely something we need to keep an eye on there very closely there. And so far, the hardest dam's not doing a bad job either with some of those numbers as well. So that first cold front will come by, then there's going to be a reinforcing front here. Here's your front right here. And the area I'm focused for severe weather, let me get a different color here. It's really these areas in here for some severe weather. There'll be I believe there's going to be a low pressure system nearby, and we can have a pretty decent cluster of thunderstorms to roll through some of these areas in here. So we need to monitor that closely as well, which I'll pull up the reflectivity. And there is going to be a sliver of 1,000 plus joules per kilogram of cape, which is favorable for some severe weather. So there's later today. And here's the next day right here. You get thunderstorms that form in northeastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania. And when they become a little bit linear, that's when we need to watch for the potential for damaging winds again. Even it tries to develop another squall line somewhere in parts of Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey, and southeastern Pennsylvania as well. But again, it's something to watch here for right now. There's another day I'm watching for severe weather. SPC does not have this highlighted as a 50% yet, but the GFS model has been very consistent with this, and it's really later this week. And I almost forgot which day it is. I think Wednesday is one of these days here. You can see here it's spinning out a pretty big cluster of thunderstorms into eastern Iowa and eventually moving into parts of Missouri. But I think it's really into Thursday is the day to watch here. Uh, you can see here it does show some shower activity out there, but it will get a little bit stronger when you get to the overnight hours. Then on the day on Friday, the severe weather risk does move a little further south. Let me show you guys the superset composite numbers. And the GFS has been pretty consistent with this. So here you go. So here's Wednesday right here. Yeah, pretty decent numbers here. Highs of 13 into parts of Minnesota and I believe that's South Dakota. Let me X that off real quick. And while that sounding loads in, you also got another area for a favorable environment for some supercells. We'll get a sounding out there as well. So let's observe the sounding here. So number one, uh, got quite a bit of cape to work with. You got 4,400 cape at the surface. That's plenty. Low level lap rates is a little bit on the weaker side, but the mid level lap rates though is pretty elevated. That's favorable for some severe weather. Here's your hodograph over here. You can see here that's a pretty decent curve to it. These storms will be moving to the southeast here. And I'll say that's a favorable environment here for some isolated tornadoes. Critical angle number is 86. That's favorable as well. There'll also be some wind shear to work with. You can see here with story to Felicity numbers is favorable. It's at least 150. And your equinox number is pretty high. It's way up there, so we can get some pretty big storms out there as well. This will probably be favorable for some damaging winds, possibly some large hail, and even for a few tornadoes. But we are still far out. This could change. Keep in mind of that. This is a little further south into parts of Iowa, and you can see here a little bit similar here. These storms will be moving south, so that's why the photograph looks like this. But it's also favorable for a few tornadoes as well. Yeah, pretty much the same way as the last one, favorable for damaged winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes as well. Pretty similar sounding there. Well, not too similar. But that's Wednesday. Then as we move on to Thursday here, it's another day for a chance for some severe weather across parts of Iowa. That's a 10 right there, shown by the GFS. Okay, that has been loaded. Yeah, pretty similar. Plenty of cape. Lap rates are favorable. Storing to Felicity numbers are pretty elevated, well above 150. Yeah, pretty much same way. All threats are possible in this sounding as well. And as you move later down the road here, here's Friday here, your severe weather risk moves into parts of the Ohio Valley as well, which we'll get one more sounding out of there real quick. And then that front becomes stationary there. And we'll look into the European model a little bit. Yep. Yeah, the Torrey fret's a little bit lower, but damaging winds, maybe some hail and those storms will be there as well. Not a terrible sounding or anything like that, but that's likely going to change. Keep in mind of that. Let's check out the European model. Now, I do not have any soundings on the European model, so all I really got is Cape with the European model, so we'll take a look to that. So here's later today on Wednesday here. Let's check out those Cape numbers. It looks like most of your Cape numbers will be staying a little further to the west here. Uh, looks to be up to 2,500 in some places. That'd be favorable for some severe weather. And moving on into Thursday, pretty good Cape numbers out across parts of Nebraska, 3,100. That ain't bad. And then severe weather risk moves to the east on Friday here. You got areas of 3,700 Cape into parts of southeastern Iowa, into parts of Illinois. If we go back to reflectivity here real quick, we may get a little MCS to develop here in eastern Nebraska, and it goes into parts of Iowa throughout the night into Friday, so it looks like it dies out in Illinois and Indiana. It looks like it tries to fire up some more storms into parts of the Ohio Valley as well. Then you move on to Saturday here. This is where your front comes in. Shows a little bit more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity across the Ohio Valley to parts of the Ozarks. And it shows wave after wave of storms after that. I mean, check that out. If that's correct, that's going to be a lot of rain. And here comes a big time cluster thunderstorms move it down to the southeast here. And check out those rainfall totals. Yeah, if that's correct, it's going to bring a lot of rain for the next 10 days. And most of this rain that's falling towards the second half of the 10 days here. Yeah, a decent amount of rain could be coming. If we look into the GFS model, it shows a little different story. But let's now move on to the tropics side of things here. So let's check this out here. So this is the National Hurricane Center's outlook here. And this is the Atlantic region. We got two areas to watch. We got one in the southwestern Gulf, which actually has a 20% chance in the next 48 hours. It's pretty disorganized for right now, but that may change over the next several days here. In the next 5 days, has a 50% chance of developing. And then this one here popped up this morning. This is off the South Carolina coast here. This is where we have a mesoscale convective vortex here. Where this X is, and this will be moving to the northeast here. And right now, there is a little bit of a Gulf Stream here of warmer sea surface temperatures here that will be favorable for tropical development. But when it gets up to this area in here, it's much cooler here, so it may die down when it gets up there. So let's check out the GFS model here. And as you can see here, we have the CAG going on across parts of Mexico and Central America. And then you get a low pressure system that develops, or at least try to develop, into parts of the Eastern Pacific. You got another one that tries to develop in the southwestern Gulf. We still not know where this is going to go. We don't really know that yet. But you can see here, this is now getting into part Saturday morning of next week. You got a pretty broad low pressure system in the southwestern Gulf. And again, we do not know where this is going to go at this point here, so take this as a grain of salt. And you also got a tropical system that does develop in the Eastern Pacific. GFS model says it'll probably make landfall into Louisiana, and it moves north up to parts of the Tennessee Valley as well by the 22nd there. But that's just one model. Keep in mind of that. I believe this is named as Invest 92 East here. At least one of these are. Let me double check that real quick. If we look at current storms here, we actually do have Tropical Storm Carlos in the Eastern Pacific as of right now. You can see here, it's not going to last too much longer. It's expected to stay as a tropical storm. Also does have no threat to land at this time. Invest 92L. Yes, in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico here. hurricane models are starting to come in now, and the majority of models says make landfall to the southwest, but that's expected to change. But here's the intensity guidance here. Most models do agree on at least half of these. This here will at least get into tropical storm strength. One of these bring it up to a Category 1 hurricane, but we're not completely sure about that yet. But I think there's still a decent probability that this will become a tropical depression or at least a tropical storm. I think it's doable with the system here in the southwestern Gulf. And you got 93E here. This is in the Eastern Pacific, and some of these models do bring it up into tropical storm strength as well. Even a couple of those bring it into Category 1 strength as well. So, so then again, this is something to watch here pretty closely here in the tropics here. And it's again, this is all by a CAG, the Central America Gyre. So we definitely need to watch both of these areas of low pressure closely here. These storms here, it'll take some time for these storms here to get organized over the next several days here. But what everybody's really paying attention for is Invest 92L here. And we'll have to see what the storm will do next here. We'll see if this storm does get organized in the next several days or not. But then again, something to watch here pretty closely. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, leave it in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.